Welcome, Saber enthusiasts. I'm Nick Nitro, and I am the Lord of the Crucible. Today we are here with the Crimson Dawn Tsukenshido. I believe this is the Honor Guard edition. Nice bronze color to it. I got this as a Christmas gift. We actually expected the black edition, but we ended up with the Honor Guard. And I was actually pleasantly surprised by that. But we're going to go ahead and go through our usual measurements here. We want to make certain everything is well within spec. But I gotta tell you, this thing is long. And I mean very, very long. But what really surprised me about the whole thing is just how modular it is. I mean, a lot of the LGT sabers you can mix and match parts. But just the sheer number of parts on this one is surprising. Look at that. There we are. That's a lot. And most of these, okay, yeah, you need them to cover everything up. Your grip section, kind of obvious. But this right here, this extension, completely unnecessary? I wouldn't say that. It depends on your preference. I mean, you can make this short, like this, where it's about the length of some of their other sabers. Or you can extend it all the way out, and this gives it a long length. Really long. I could easily fit, if I had them, 3 hands on here. So that's really nice. So we're going to go ahead and start out with our usual measurements. And we're going to start out with the weight. Wow. That is 18.15 ounces. Yep. Okay. That is over a full pound. That's a lot of weight, but it's really evenly distributed, at least with the hilt. I imagine it's going to be a little point heavy, dip down a little to the front, but let's find out. Now this one uses 2 blade retention screws. There we go. Go. Now I would kind of like them to be spread out a little bit instead of just directly opposite of each other. But we'll see what it's like in testing. In the meantime, not as nose heavy as I was thinking. Balance point's right there. Go ahead and see how far away from the emitter that is. That is 1 3/4 inches in front of the emitter for the balance point. Which isn't bad. I mean, I would like it to be closer. And you know what? I think there's a way I can do that. Let's give this a try. Like I said, the modularity of this particular hilt is a little off the hook. I mean, when this comes to balance point, yeah, you can kind of shift it around a little bit. I don't know if you'd consider it cheating or not. Maybe yes, maybe no. And that's already shifted everything further down. Not much difference, but one thing it allows us to do here is drop the blade further into the socket. I mean, really far. Now that should have an impact here. Wow, that brings the balance point to about 1/4 inch away from the top of the emitter. But that's not how I'm going to test it, because that's going to be kind of a deep blade socket. It really is, because that's going to play with things a lot. And me, I'm always about messing around with the balance point. I want to figure out how I can move it closer. This gives me an opportunity that I've never really had before. Now the length is going to be a little hard to measure here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the guard off. You can separate the guard from its emitter holder. This will allow us to get the full length, because it only goes in that far. It's going to be 12.75 inches long. So that's a little over a foot. And this thing, make no mistake, it is all metal. It is a nice solid piece. Now, if you're using this dueling, or actually more importantly, if you're dueling against someone that has a metal guarded lightsaber, I would strongly recommend against hitting the guard with your blade like that. That is going to crease that blade in a heartbeat. So far it seems to be a rather long weapon, definitely a technically three-handed hilt. It's got some weight to it, but a moderately adjustable balance point. Now let's put this back in its original configuration. And we want our smallest possible diameter. The one battery you never expect to run out of. The watch battery. Oh no. Okay, we're back. Got it working. So let's find the smallest diameter on the hilt, the smallest area that you can possibly grip. Although I'm going to tell you, this is a fairly even looking hilt except for this grip area here. Okay, right here in the grooved section of the grip, that's going to be your smallest grip diameter at 1.14 inches. So that's actually not too bad. Now our maximum diameter, that's going to be that. But I don't see anybody holding it up here. But realistically, you'll be gripping in areas like this. Okay, so most of this part right here, is 1.3 inches in diameter, so almost 1 1/3, which isn't too bad. It is a fairly comfortable grip for me. I do have slightly larger hands, so this may be a matter of opinion. But I do really like the way I can just spin it around even without the blade in it. We normally measure the blade socket, and that's what we're going to do right here. We're going to take two measurements, one from the very end of the emitter to the very face of the LED module. And then we're going to measure it from the retention screw to the face of the LED module, and that's going to be a little harder to do. It's all the way in there. 2.3, almost 2.4 inches. Now that's fairly deep. But we had another one with a 3-inch socket depth, and that one had issues. Alright, bring this, slide it all the way in. Actually, we're going to take this all the way out. Here we are. That's all the way up there. Not gonna mark anything. Yes, barely. That'll work. From the retention socket, from the retention screw, the socket still has like 0.86 inches. Okay, that is nice. That should be plenty deep, but it's also got a lot of reinforcement up here. But I also said we were going to be messing around with things, didn't I? Now these next measurements are not gonna count. I'm just doing them because I'm having fun with this. Just like I did before. We're gonna move that extension up. Okay, now that's gonna be way down there. Okay, that is 4 1/3 inches deep. So if you really wanted to do that, you could almost make that a Shoto blade without having to cut your blade down. It also means probably talking a 3-inch retention area at the blade retention screw itself. That would be fun. But to be a fair test, we're going to test it in this configuration, or not this configuration, sorry. Oh my god. Let's get that turned back around. We'll see what it can take with a standard blade socket. Last couple of measurements that we've got here still deal with the blade socket. We're going to be talking internal diameter. I can get it to a maximum of 0.993. It still seems a little small to me. Let me try one more time. Here we are. I got it registering 0.998. Which to me would seem to be a little bit more accurate. No matter how hard I try, it is still measuring about 0.995. But that reads a little better. A little. So there we have it. I really like being able to mess around with the configuration like this. I think it would give you a lot of flexibility. If you happen to be someone that likes to grip lower, you can move the grip section down here. If you like a really deep blade socket so you could shorten your blade even more, you can do that. The sound is that the sound was a little bit muddy, at least when I initially had it, the few times that I've played around with it. But let's check it out. Still a little softer than what I would like. I'm going to take the extension off here, and I'm just going to leave it completely open. And I'm not noticing much difference. However, it is better than what I had heard previously. Previously, when I fired it up, I would have trouble hearing the blaster deflects or the blade clash effects. Now, they're still a little muted, but I can hear them a lot better, and I think the big culprit was low battery. If you happen to notice that your clashes and your blaster deflects are sounding really, really muted, I'd recommend giving it a full charge. That's what I did last night just before we started recording today, and it sounds way better than what it did before. I was initially thinking that maybe having this extra section might have been acting maybe not so much as a resonance chamber, but as a mute. It doesn't seem to have much effect one way or the other. Let's take the pommel off so that we don't have as much of a constriction on the sound. Yeah, this actually does act as a good resonance chamber. Now here, with these holes on the pommel, it does seem to restrict the sound a little bit, but it's not enough to account for what I heard previously, so I'm sticking with the battery charge option. In the meantime, the next time you see this saber will be out in the Crucible. I can't wait. This is going to be very, very interesting. I really want to see how this guard holds up. But we're also going to be doing some soldering ourselves. There's going to be another repair video coming up, as well as the first, hopefully, in the series of videos that I'm going to be doing where I am building my own lightsaber, doing my first custom install. So if you'd like to see someone going through this all for the first time, like many of us either have or are going to, come along for the ride. Watch someone make some stupid mistakes. Learn from them, and hopefully by the time we're at the end of it, we will have a full Profi installed lightsaber. Until then, I am Nick Nitro, and I will see you in the Crucible.